Hey there, ladies. I'm Phil Taylor, and this is day 3 of your 3-part video training series on how to put together a website using the Divi platform. So hopefully by now, after going through the first 2 days, you're starting to see just how easy it can actually be to set up your website. Not having to do any major coding, very, very little tech. It's a lot of cut, paste, click, copy, and put here. But it's really, really simple once you just kind of look at it step by step and bit by bit. So before we get into today's lesson, just kind of want to briefly go over what we went over in the first 2 days. So in day 1, we gave you all the tools that you're going to need in order to set up your website. And then in the second video on day 2, we actually showed you the step-by-step way to actually get your web address and your hosting put together, as well as being able to set up your WordPress site and, of course, upload the Divi theme. So today, we're going to be talking all about how easy it is to actually set up a web page in Divi, all right? And so if you're looking at the screen right now, what you see is what's going to be our example page. So this is actually a layout, just a little bit of a short little preview of what can be done in Divi. And as you can see here, we have a wonderful header here with the girl's picture looking at a computer with the wording here that says you're a beautiful website with no coding ever. And we're going to just act as though this is like a mock sales page for if I were going to sell you a program on how to do Divi. All right. So we'll go down. As you can see, there's various sections. So in this website that I've put together, we have 4 sections. We have the top part here. We have the middle part here, just giving a little brief little copy there about what this page is about and what this site's supposed to be about. Section 3 down here, we have testimonials that I've put together here. And then, of course, at the bottom, we have a 4th little bar here with enroll in the Learn Divi Fast course today, become a Divi Diva. So if you're watching this video, then you are about to become a Divi Diva as well, all right? Now, so what we're gonna do today is I'm gonna show you ladies exactly how we build this site, okay? It's all very easy to do. We're gonna do it step by step. And real quick, I wanted to show you examples of other sites that other women have put together. Now, full disclosure, these aren't necessarily sites that were put together with Divi, but I'm going to show them to you because the kinds of sites and the way that their layouts are built can be easily built using the Divi theme platform, all right? So first off, this is Amy Porterfield. She is a businesswoman who teaches business owners and entrepreneurs around the globe how to set up their courses and trainings and stuff like that. But anyway, as you can see, she has a very, very nice layout. We have a picture here of her with the button, some text over here. We scroll down, go to the next section, and we have some text, we have some pictures, and we have some buttons. What you're going to notice when you're starting to build your own website together is that for each section of the page, a lot of the layout that you're going to be using is basically the same. It usually consists of text, some kind of picture, and possibly a button to take them to another part of your site. Okay, so here we have text, pictures, buttons. Go to the next section. We have text, pictures, buttons. The background here can be changed to either a picture or a color. Down here, we have what? We have text, pictures, buttons, and then a background color here. And you can see this site is very, very clean, but it allows people to be immersed in her online world and really understand what she's about. And the cleaner that you can make your website look, the more profitable it's going to be for you long term, okay? Here's another example of a great site. This is Mel Wells. She is a health expert who teaches women how to do juicing. Okay. By the way, these people are not paying me to show their sites. I've studied these women's sites and I really like the way that they are able to put together a design. All right. But all this stuff can be done in Divi. So like even this thing right here where she has video as the top of her page, this can actually be done using the Divi platform. It's literally just cut and paste and then you're done. All right. Going down here again, what do we have here? We have text, picture, button, background color. We scroll down here. We have text, picture, button, background color. And like I said, for most of your sites, that's all you're really going to need. And this is very, very easy to put together once you know how to put everything together. All right. Even down here, she's selling her book. So this goes to her Amazon page or her shop. But again, we have what? We have text, picture, button, background color. All right. And then this one right here, this lady's website name is Marie Forleo. I think it's Forleo. I can't really pronounce it. But you can see here, this is her header. So she has a picture background. I think this is actually a video background that comes in, and then it pauses at that. But she has some wording here. You scroll down, you get a little of her story. You have a little fade in here. And by the way, those sites that you see where people, as you scroll down, the words and stuff fade in, that's actually a very, very simple button that you can click on or off in Divi that will allow you to do the same thing. How great is that? Again, no coding necessary ever. It's just simply knowing where to drop and put things, and you can have a nice, wonderful layout that looks just like this. You know, it's very, very simple. So let's go ahead and build our site. Shall we X out these other sites that we saw here? And so I've already got a picture of this website saved. So we can use this as our comparison so we can make sure we're building the right template and the right pictures. And also, we want to make sure we use the same wording. So I also have my wording saved down here. So we're going to be cutting and pasting this into the Divi theme. All right. So here's how this all works. When you first sign in to your WordPress website, you're going to see this page right here. And there's a lot of tabs over here, which I will not be getting into for this particular tutorial. But needless to say, there's a lot of ways you can use these things to set up various things in the back end of your website. But for today, I'm just showing you specifically how to build things with Divi. So what we're going to do is when you're ready to build a new page in your website, you're going to go to this tab right here that says Pages. And then this thing pops up that says All Pages and Add New. And so I typically like to see what pages I currently have to make sure I'm not going to be copying any of them. And then if I need to add a new one, then you will just add a new page. So we're going to do that today. We're going to click Add New. All right, when we go over here, as you can see, the page does not currently have a name. So we're going to name this page. We're going to give this Test Page 3 because I've already done 2 earlier. And then you always want to make sure you type the name first and then publish it right away. That way, the name that you want for your page is saved. So we're going to let that publish itself, and boom. So as you can see here, permalink, now it says learndivifast.com/testpage3. And you can always edit this if you want to. If you want to change the name of your page at any time, you can. But we'll keep it the same for now. All right. So now that we have a name, we want to actually get into the builder. So there's a button here that says Use the Divi Builder. We're going to press that. As you can see, 2 options pop up. We have Use Default Editor and Use Visual Builder. Now, the default editor allows you to edit your page from the back end of the site, which is basically right here. You can add various sections and columns and whatnot, but we're not going to use this for today. Again, you can use it, but it makes it much easier to build the site if you actually use the Visual Builder. This is the meat and potatoes, the reason that you got this template to make your life a whole lot easier when it comes to building websites, all right? So we're going to click Use Visual Builder. You see it's going to load up a little bit here, so hold on a second. So you'll see little dots. Okay, so here we are. This is the front end builder right here, aka the Visual Builder. Now you'll notice right here, we don't really have a lot of stuff on the page right here because we haven't added anything, all right? But I do want you to notice this. We have these 2 rectangles here, okay? We have a blue rectangle and we have a green rectangle, all right? So when you're building on the front end of Divi in the Visual Builder, there are 3 basic structure elements to building your website, okay? You have sections, you have rows, and then you have modules, okay? So the sections in the blue here are the main parts that are going to be used to store the various rows and columns that you're going to be building into each section, all right? The rows, which is the green, represented by the green rectangle here, are going to be used to organize the various modules. And then the modules are the content that you're going to be adding, whether it's pictures, whether it's graphics, or whether it's images, or whatever. Those are the modules, okay? And so what we're going to do is I'm going to show you bit by bit how to go through the sections, how to add in rows, and then how to use modules, okay? So let's go ahead and start with sections, right, which we have highlighted right here. So when you highlight the section part of the Divi theme, you're going to have these 5 little things pop up on the side here on the top left corner, all right? And each of these elements do different things. So this right here, this little cross right here, this actually allows you to drag the section to different parts. So let's say we had a section here and a section down here, and we wanted to move this section up here, down here. We would simply take this, drag it, and put it under the section down here. And I'll show you how to do that a little bit later, all right? Right here, this little sunny dial thing is a section settings. When you click on that, as you can see, this little menu here pops up. And by the way, this menu is movable. So if you're doing, say, a section up here and you don't want this in the way, you can just move this around by simply left clicking it, holding it, and dragging it around. All right, very, very simple. But anyway, so we have the section settings, and within section settings, we have various options. So here we have background setting, where you can choose your background, whether it's a color background. You know, you can choose like a different color, red, orange, yellow, or if you want to do kind of a faded background where you have like the gradient colors, so that can be a thing too. This is going to allow us to make picture background, and then this would be if we had a video background that we wanted to use. So like I said, it's very, very easy to figure out what elements you want to put in your header and then actually place them in there with the Divi theme, all right? So beyond that, I don't think we need any other parts of this particular thing. We don't need to worry about admin label. If we go to design here, this is going to allow us various different options in terms of the layout, sizing, dividers, spacing, borders, etc. We won't really go into that too much today, but I just want you to know that those options are available. So if you want to do this on your own, you can explore this stuff as well. And then we have an advanced tab here. If you know coding, if you happen to know CSS, then you are welcome to cut and paste that CSS coding into Divi as well to do extra things with it. Again, for most of you that don't know CSS, like I don't know it at all, you'll be able to make a really great website without having to do that. But if you do know that kind of coding, you're welcome to use that on this as well. All right. So anyway, that's the second little option here. This right here is the duplicate option. So when you press this, you get a second section right down here. Okay, so let's say you had like a white background here, then you wanted another one with a white background here. You could do that, but it makes it easy. Instead of having to like re-enter every single thing in that you did up here, down here, you can just duplicate it. Okay, so I'm going to trash that for now. This is the trash tab. So anytime you want to delete an entire section, you can just click that and trash it. And then this option right here is the save section. Let's say you put the section together, you like the way it looks, and you want to have like this header section for all the other pages that you make. You can just save it into the library by clicking this. It'll ask you to type a name for whatever the layout is, and you save to library, and it'll save it. And then you can just paste that in to other pages of your site. So Divi makes it really, really easy to make duplicates or to, you know, make copies of stuff for other pages on your site without having to put all those elements in again. So that's the section part. So down here, we have the green rectangle, which represents our rows. And as you can see, if we click on, everything here is the same as it was up here, except for we've added this little option right here. And this is the column structure option. And when you click that, you see you have a variety of different column types that come up. So you can have a single column, you can have 2 columns, you can have 3 columns, you can have up to 4 columns, you can have 2 columns where one is bigger than the other one, and other various options here. But this is what's going to allow you to structure how things look on your site and how the modules are going to look on your website, okay? So for example, let's say we do this one right here, all right? We're gonna choose the 2 column option. Click on that, and now what pops up are these little gray pluses, and these gray pluses are going to be where our modules get placed, okay? And again, modules are just the various options that Divi allows you to input into your site, whether it's an audio, whether it's a blurb of some kind, a button, a call to action. I'll do a quick example here of an image. So I want to put an image there, for example. I could click on image, go to upload. I could choose a picture, and I think I've already got some loaded up here, so I can just, you know, choose a random picture like this, and then press upload, and then it would show up right there. And then for the next one, if I wanted to say, for example, put a text module here, I could click this right here. We try to find a text module of some kind. So we have texting here. Click on text, and we can just start typing some stuff, and it'll show up next to it. But you'll see, as you can see, so we have a picture here, we have text here, and so our column, the green rectangles allow us to determine how those get shown. Okay, so for example, we have this. Let's say I wanted to change the way this looks. All right. Say I want to maybe have this one a little bit bigger or whatever. We could go to columns again, and we can actually change it up to where now this is bigger and then our text is over here, but it's still within the frame of this rectangle. Okay. So that's how you can determine your column sizes, and you can determine like what's going to go where. Very, very simple. But we're going to trash all this for now, because our goal now is going to be to build this site over here, right? We're going to build this page of the website. So let's go ahead and go about doing that. So the first thing we're going to do is this right here. We want to have this picture. This picture is actually our background. And so because this is the background of that section, we want to go to sections first. So here we have sections highlighted, and we're going to click on this sundial right here. It says section settings. When this pops up, as you can see, we have background options right here. We're going to click the arrow next to background. And because we're doing a picture, we're going to choose the third one from the left, which is right here. This is going to allow us to upload a picture to put here. All right. Once we choose that option, we click the little plus button inside. Now, we've already got some pictures loaded here, but let's say I didn't have any of these pictures loaded. I would go to Upload File, and I would go to Select Files. And then from here, I could actually choose a picture that I wanted to use, okay? But like I said, we've already got a picture in here, so we won't worry about that for right now. So once it imports in, it would go to Media Library. As you see, we've got our choices here. And so here's the picture we want to use. And here it allows you to choose the size of the picture. Typically for a background of a section, you want to use full size or large. So for this one, I'm going to use large. It takes a little bit less memory on the website. So we'll do that, and we'll click Upload Image. Now, as you can see, you don't really see all the image, but we're going to save it here for now first. We're going to save it. And now we want to make sure we can actually see all of her. So whenever you highlight a section, if you move the arrow down just enough, you'll see that the arrow turns into double arrows and a little highlighted like thin line pops up, okay? You're going to be able to simply drag that out as far as you need it to in order to see more of the background, okay? So we simply hold left click, and then we can move this down. As you can see, we're starting to see more and more of her, right? And you can also do this for the top of the page. If you move your arrow up close enough, you'll see it turn in double arrows. You can hold left click and also scroll that up and down. And you do that until you get the desired effect, or like how much of her you want to see on screen. So we want to see about this much. It's perfect. And we let go. And now look at that. That looks pretty. So we have the background of our section now, the girl sitting at the computer here. And now we want to add this wording right here that says, your beautiful website with no coding ever. So what we do is we're going to highlight the rows part, which is this little plus green button right here. And when we see that highlight says add new row, you're going to click that, and it's going to ask us how many rows or columns do we need, right? So we only need one column. And so because of that, we're going to use this one right here. And it's going to ask us what module we want to put inside of that column. And so because that is text, we're going to look up the text module. And that is right here. So we highlight that. Now, I already have the text that I want to have typed out down here, okay? And so what I recommend always is to do this. You don't want to just cut and paste into this section right here when this tab's on visual, because if you have it at a certain font here, it might make it that way here, and you might not want that font. So what you want to do is you always want to start off by clicking the text tab, okay? And then from there, you can copy and paste in the text that you want to use. So I'm going to copy this here. See, copy. Perfect. And then when I paste it into here, it'll be all set to go. So we'll take this, we'll press enter. And now we'll go back over to the visual tab, and we can see what it looks like. So if you come over here, you can kind of see it over here, but notice it's kind of gray. It's not really like in focus. Don't focus on this for now. We're going to change all that. But for right here, we have the text saved. And if you notice right here, it's being saved as paragraph text. That's just regular texting, okay? But we actually want this to be a header text because this is the header of our website, right? So we're going to highlight these words, click the arrow next to paragraph, and simply choose a heading option. We're going to use heading 1. Boom. So now we've got it more looking like a header. But we want to change this to look yellow and have a little bit of shadowing in the background. So this is where the design tab comes into play for your text settings, okay? You click design. Over here we have a bevy of options that we can use to change up the way that the wording looks. And since this is a header text, we're going to click the arrow next to heading text to change some of the way that it looks. When we click that, you notice right here it says that the heading font or the design of the wording rather is on default mode. The nice thing about Divi is it allows you to change up the font that you want to use, and it has a lot of options, like a lot, like so many. These are just the A's, so many options, okay? Now, the one that I use for this in particular is called Ribeye. And so if you don't want to have to scroll all the way down to some of the later ones and you know the names of some of the ones that you want to use, you can actually type it in. And by the way, whenever you highlight each one of these different fonts, it's going to change what it looks like right there so you can actually see what you're getting before you choose that font, all right? But I already know I want to use Ribeye, so I'm going to type in Ribeye. And there it goes. It pops up. So I'm going to click Ribeye. You can see the wording over here changed, right? Awesome. So now we want to actually center that. And I meant to center that over in the content tab. I'm going to see if I can do it over here as well. Text alignment. Yes. So you can change the alignment here or in the contents tab as well. But we have heading text alignment, so I've centered it. Now I want to make it, I want to change the color of it because this here is yellow. So here we have heading text color. All you got to do is click that and our color option panel comes up. And again, you can choose a wide variety of colors, but I like yellow. Perfect. Now it's still kind of faded in a little bit. You can't really necessarily read it that well, but we're going to change that in a little bit. First, I want to change the text size. So because here definitely is a little bit bigger. And so all you do is it has a little heading text size option here. You take this, you hold left click, and you just drag it. Drag to the right till you get it the size that you want it. That looks nice. So we'll do that at 58 pixels. Now, if you wanted to change the spacing of the letters, like if you wanted to like widen them out, you could. I don't need to do that for this one. If you wanted to change the line height so it's more spaced out, you also could do that. But again, I'm not going to do that for this one. I like the way it is. Now, here we have heading text shadow. Now, when you add the shadow, it's going to add a little more oomph behind the wording, so it's going to make it stand out more. And that's really good to use when you're using light colors because oftentimes, as you see here, it'll kind of like fade into like a lighter color in the background, and you want to be able to read your wording, okay? So we have different shading text shadow options. We have this one here. This one over here makes it a little bit lighter. We have this one that makes it more deep. And we have this one here that is a little bit more close to the letters, but I like this one. I don't know why, because it's like it's there, but it's not distracting from the background. I like this one in particular, so we're going to use that for the shadowing, okay? And then I like everything that we've done thus far. So there are still some other options here. Of course, you want to change the heading text shadow color, you can, some of the sizing stuff and whatnot. But I like the way this looks, so we're going to save that by clicking this green box here that says Save Changes. Okay, so as you can see, we have now made this part of the page. How simple was that? What did we do? We went to the Sections tab. We uploaded a background picture right here. We were able to use the bottoms and the tops of this section to just drag them up and down to be able to get it to actually show all the way. And then in the center here, we added a singular row. And from there, we were able to add a module that was a text module. And then we added in the text that we wanted to use, and we changed the color and the shadow. And none of this required any coding. It was all either drag, drop, or, changing the back and forth of the sizes and stuff in the module options. But it was all very, very simple. This is something, ladies, that you can actually do, okay? And I'm not a guy that likes coding. And as you can see, this is going to make it easy. You could teach your kids how to make a website using Divi. How cool would that be? You'd be like the cool mom that taught her son and daughter how to make websites. Anyway, so now we're going to build these other sections, okay? And I'm just going to kind of zip through these bit by bit because it really is the same thing over and over again, which is you create a section, you create a backdrop, whether it's a colored backdrop or a picture backdrop, you add rows with columns in them, and then you decide what elements you want in those rows and columns, okay? So let's go ahead and figure out how to do that. So when you want to add another section to your website, you go down to the bottom of the section that you're on, and you see this little blue circle here that highlights up the words add new section. You click on that, and it's going to give you the option to do one of three things: either a regular section, a specialty section, or a full width section. Each of these, with a full width section, it goes all the way across the screen, and it's something a lot of times that you'll use if you're trying to put together a header, which you can also do just do it with your regular settings, but some people like to use the full width option. But for what we're doing today, we really just need to focus on just the regular, okay? You could literally do your whole website just using the regular setting of sections, and you'll have a great looking website, okay? So we're gonna click regular. And for this one, as you can see, how many rows do we need? How many rows do we need? Well, we only need one row for this one, obviously. But how many sections, how many columns do we need? Well, we have a text column here, and we have a picture column here, okay? We have two different elements, so we need 2 rows. And these are about the same size. In fact, they are the same size. So we're going to choose this one right here. We're going to get 2 columns that are the exact same size. I have to scroll down a little bit. So it's already asking us what module we actually want to put here, and that's great, okay? So we know we want a text module, so we'll scroll down and to the text module, and this pops up again. So as I said before, we want to make sure before we put our text in that we click the text tab, so that way we can determine later on what our fonting and stuff is going to be. And I've already got it typed out here for our second section, so we have everything from the header to the actual text we're going to use. We're going to just highlight this here. And yes, you can also just type stuff in if you don't have it already pre-typed out. You can totally like use this to just type in whatever you want to type in. But we're going to copy this, and we're going to paste it into here. All right. And as you can see, it's already appeared down here, but it doesn't quite look like this, and that's okay. We just want to paste it in here for now. And we're going to fix some of the stuff on the visual and then some of the stuff in the design tab. So we'll simply click the visual tab here. Oh, you know what? Let me go back to the text real quick. I want the heading to be on a different line from the text. So I'm going to make sure I press enter here so it's got its own line. Now we'll click on the visual tab. Okay, so we want to make the words "make the website of your dreams" be a header text. And so what you do is you're going to highlight just that line, and the arrow next to paragraph, you're going to click that and choose a heading size. Once again, I think we're going to do heading 2 this time, just a little bit shorter. There we go. Make the website of your dreams. That is our header. All right. So we also want to make sure that everything here is in a certain alignment. So these little options right here are alignment options. When you click these, different things happen, whether it's moving stuff to the middle, moving it to the far left, or justifying it where everything goes to the very, very end of this particular section, okay? So I want to highlight everything here, and you can simply do that by taking your little cursor here and just dragging over everything. Scroll back up. And I like my stuff justified because I'm OCD like that, so we'll do the Justify tab. All right. So now everything, as you can see, goes to the very, very edge, but we are not done yet because now we're going to change our design. So let's go to Design. So let's start with the header text. We're going to go to heading text. And for our heading text, we want to make sure that the version of it that we chose in the content section is the same version we choose here. So since I used heading 2, I'm going to click heading 2 here. All right. And then we're going to be able to change up the various fonts and stuff. So since I used the ribeye font in the previous section, it's going to save that as one of the fonts that I really like to use. As you can see, it's right here. And so I'm going to click that, and boom, it changes our font into the ribeye font for the header down here as well, all right? And so that looks good. Now we want to change the paragraph text, all right? And so that's just listed here as regular text. So we're going to click the arrow next to text, and it is saved at default. And once again, you can choose whatever font you want to use. I typically like to use the ABZ font for paragraphs. I don't know why, I just like the way it looks. So we're going to click that. As you can see, it changed up a little bit, not too much, but just enough to make a difference from what the default was. All right. Now, I also want to change the size of this font. I always think about my mom when I put together websites because she has to use reading glasses and she doesn't really read small font well. So I always make it a point to try to make the font a little bit of a bigger size. So we can actually go down here to text size, And we can do the same thing we did previously, where we can left click hold and just kind of move this back and forth till we get the size that we want. And I just want it a little bit bigger, not too much, but just enough to where you can read it. So do it about like 18, 19. 19 is good. We'll do 19, okay? I also want to change the color. Now, this is a grayish type color, which is totally fine, but I like to have my text be a dark black. So we're going to choose the text color option here, and we can choose our various colors if we want. But of course, we're going to go to black for this one, all right? And so I think I like the way everything looks. Looks good, okay? So I'm going to save that by going over here. This green button right here, click that. All right. So now we got our wording. Now we just need our picture for this one. So we go to the second column, and we click on this gray button, add new module. And since it's a picture, we're going to go to the image module right here. Click. All right. Now, if I didn't have pictures loaded up, I could just put in a URL here from another website that has a picture that I like. I could just put the link in there, and then that picture would show up right here as well. But I'm going to find a picture instead. So clearly we have the girl sitting at the computer here, and that is already loaded up right here. So we're going to highlight that. And I like the size that it's at already. So we're going to do upload an image. And boom, we now have our picture. All right. And so we're going to click save here. And now we have our next section. As you can see right here, we have our words here. We have our picture here. And we didn't do anything to the background. We just kept it white just because I just like the color for this. It's a contrast to the previous section that had a lot of colors in it. So this section is now done. By the way, as you're going through your website making process, you may want to occasionally save from time to time just to make sure that everything that you're doing design-wise is getting saved. God forbid your computer turns off, or you're having like electric storm and your computer cuts off. You want to make sure that you're saving sporadically as you're making it. And so this button down here allows us to save. We click on the purple button here, and if you look all the way to the right, you'll see this save option. All right, so we're going to go ahead and save this. Okay, and now we have this page saved thus far. All right, now we want to get back into building our next section. Okay, we only got a couple sections left, so we'll go back down to our blue button here and add a new section, and it's going to be a regular section. Now it's already asking us to insert rows. Before we do that, I'm going to X out right here. I want to make sure that we're able to actually change the color of our section right here. All right, so we're going to go to the sections set tab right here and click the sundial. As you can see, we have our background choice pop up, and this time we're going to choose color. So this little paint can right here indicates that we're choosing a color background, and we're going to click the plus button here, and we have options. All right. So what I'm going to do for this is I'm going to choose black, and then these knobs over here allow us to kind of fade in and fade out how much of the color we want. So we have the full dark black here. If we choose this option here to the far right and just kind of move it down, you're going to see it start to brighten up a little bit. All right, so we're going to brighten it up just to where it's almost a lightish gray, but it's definitely different contrast from the white. Right about there is perfect. And now we have our color option. So that's our gray, all right? I'm going to save that by clicking this button right here. All right, so now, if we look over here, we have 3 different columns, all right? And we also have 2 different rows. So we want to actually add 2 rows. And so to do that, what we're going to do is this. We're going to go down here to where we choose our rows and it says add new row. We're going to click the plus button. And we want 3 this time, 3 even rows. So we're going to click this button right here, and we have our rows. Now, before we start inserting modules, again, we want to have 2 rows. So all we have to do to add another 3 rows down here is click this plus button right here. Actually, no, we can actually just simply duplicate it. So all we got to do is go over here, go to our little duplicator, it says duplicate row, and now we have our second row. How simple was that? Very, right? All right. So now we're going to copy what we have here. We have 3 pictures, and then these are the testimonials that are below each of these pictures, okay? So we're going to add a picture first. We'll go to our top left-hand row here and add new module. We're going to add an image module. So scroll down to image. And it's going to ask us to choose an image. We're going to press upload. And we want to use this one for the first row, first column. So we'll click that one right here, and we will upload the image. That looks great. And we're going to save it. Now, I want 2 more pictures across here, right? So here's what I can do. Instead of having to keep going in here and saying, oh, I'm going to choose the image module and then add, we already know we want an image. So we can simply take this and we can do 2 things. One, we can duplicate this picture by clicking the little duplication option right here. And then we can simply drag this picture to the button right here by simply highlighting this, holding onto the little plus button, left click hold, and drag it up to this section. Okay? And then we can do that again. We're going to duplicate. We're going to left click hold. We're going to drag to this section. All right? So now that these are all images, we can simply just change the images. So we'll go back in here, click our little sundial, and we'll click the upload button and choose another image. So for this one, we used the lady typing on the laptop here. We're going to have that be our image here, and we're going to save it. And then we're going to change our image here. Click the little sundial, click upload, find a picture of the woman drinking coffee on her bed, upload the image, and save. How simple was that? We got 3 completely different pictures. So now let's go down to our next row. This is going to be our testimonial row. So we're going to click the plus sign to add the new module, and we're going to look for something that says testimonial. Testimonial right there. We're going to click that. Now I've already got the testimonials typed down here. So we have our author, her name is Cheryl. So we're going to paste in Cheryl's name, copy, paste in the name. Okay. And I didn't put in any particular job title or company name for this one. I just went straight to the content. So again, with our content, we're going to click the text tab first. And I'm going to copy the text that I have here. It says, learn Divi fast. Help me complete my website in less than 1 week. We're going to copy that. And which is very true, by the way. You can make these sites so freaking fast when you're using the Divi platform. It's amazing. All right, so we'll do visual. All right. Now, you notice you can't see down here. It's in white text, so you can't really see it, but not to worry, because we're going to go to our design tab, and we're going to scroll down to body text, and we're going to choose the body color, text color, and we'll just make it black so you can see it. All right. If you want to change the font here, you can as well. You just go to body font change and do that. So we'll go to default. Again, it's already saved the Abiz and Ribeye, so I'm going to choose Abiz again for the text because I like that font. Okay, and then also the little quotation thing at the top here, we can also change the color of that as well. The little quote icon, it'll ask us what color we want the quote icon to be. So I'm going to choose black for that as well. So now that we got our quote, obviously we want to add another quote to this column and this column here. And we could go for the option of pressing the plus button and clicking add new module and scrolling down to testimonial, or we can do what we did before with the pictures, which is simply duplicate and then drag and drop. So let's try that. So we're going to highlight this here. We're going to duplicate this quote particular. We're going to highlight the plus button right here. We're going to left click hold and just drag it to this section. All right, do that one more time. So we're going to duplicate, hold the plus button, drag, and drop. Boom. Now all we got to do is highlight the quotes and just change the names and the people that were doing them. So for this one, we'll click on the module settings. We'll change the name. The second name we have here is Emily. So we'll go to Emily. And what's nice is it keeps all whatever parameters we set for the previous ones, whether it's a font or the color of the fonts or the quote little thing at the top, whatever, that all stays the same. So we don't have to keep going back in and programming those things over and over again, which is really, really nice. So we're going to copy and paste this here into this one down here. We'll change this up. We'll click text. We'll highlight. We'll paste it. And then we'll click the visual tab. And so now that is our new quote down here. And then for this last one here, we'll save this first from this previous one over here. And now we'll go to this last one here. We'll click the little sundial. And this person's name is Laura. So we'll copy Laura's name, paste it here. And then we'll scroll down. We'll change our text up. Click the text tab first. And I got my stuff down here. It says, my kids are so proud of me for making my own great looking site. Hashtag cool mom. We'll copy that and paste it into the text. Forget the background. I don't know if you guys can hear. There's somebody doing lawn work now, but got to keep on moving, right? So we got this here, and now look at that. We have different quotes all down here. We got a nice little background here. It's gray, and we got our 3 different pictures. We're going to save this here for our last quote, and we're going to make sure that we save now that we've done that section. So we'll save here. All right, so we got all that saved. So look at our website thus far. Look at that. We got our top here with the picture of the lady and the beautiful website with no coding ever. We got the little make the website of your dreams with the Learn Divi Fast course text here, along with the picture of the lady right here. And then we scroll down, we got our 3 glorious pictures as well as our 3 different testimonials. And it looks awesome, all right? So we're gonna build one more little section down here, then we'll be done. So once again, we'll go to our little blue little circle here. It says add new section. And we're going to add a regular section in. And this is 2 rows because one of them is a button and one of them is text. So we'll do, but they're both in their own singular rows. All right. So we'll do a row. And before we build that row, we're going to X out of this real quick. We're going to scroll down here and we're going to change our background to this color. All right. So what we do is we click on the little sundial for the sections part of this tab. Background, we're going to choose the color option with the little paint here. And click the plus button in the circle here. And we'll see if we can emulate that color. So we'll click red here. And then we'll take a little circle. Notice this little circle here. You can actually take this and just use this to kind of drag to choose the different color that you want to get. So we're going to get to the purple over here. Kind of that kind of reddish color. A little bit like that. Looks good. And if I wanted to darken that a little bit, I could use this to kind of lighten it or darken it, as well as this button here. So I think we got about as dark as we're going to get it, which is pretty decent. So we'll do that. And we'll click the green Save Bucks option right here. All right. So now we save that. Now we're going to add in our row modules. All right. So for this first one, and actually, you know what I'll do? I'll press the plus button here to add the row under it right away. So we'll add a singular row. So I'll X that for now. But now we have our 2 rows. We have our row for our text and a row for our button. So let's go ahead and add the text one first. We'll click the circle here to add new module. And if you don't want to scroll all the way down, you can actually type in the name of the module if you already know what you're trying to go to. So we know we want to use text. So I'll just type in text here and it pops up. And I click that. Now the text I want to use says enroll in the Learn Divi Fast course today. So that's what I'm going to use for that text. And we have that here. So I'm going to copy that right here. I'm going to go over here and click the text tab first so I can paste in my text. All right. And then we'll do visual. So as you can see right now, it looks like not the way I want it to look, but you already know, ladies, we're going to fix that up for you. So first off, we're going to make sure this is centered. So I can either do it in the design tab or in the content tab. And I think this time I'm going to do it here. We're going to center that up nicely. Also, this is definitely a headline. Or a header rather. So I'm going to click the arrow next to paragraph and I'm going to choose header 1. All right. Now we're going to go over to design and go to the heading text option. And we're using header 1 this time, so it stays on this tab. So first off, I want to change the font, and you know how we're going to do that. We're going to go to heading font, and it's already on default. So we're going to choose another font option. Of course, we already got ribeye, which I love. I love my ribeye, just like the steak. So I'm going to click it. So it looks nice and fancy. Also, I want to change the color of the font to white. So I'm going to go down to heading text color and click the square next to select color. And I'm going to choose the option of white. And so now we have that. All right. And that's really all I need to do for this particular section. So I'm going to check that as a save change. All right. Now I want to add my button. All right. So this is a little bit new for you ladies. So check this out. I'm going to click add module. And I want to add a button, which is already right here. So I'm going to click button. All right. Now I can add button text. And the button text that I've chosen to use today is become a Divi diva, because that is what you are, ladies. You are going to be a Divi diva. And that adds in the text. Now, obviously, I want to center this button and do some other things. So that's when we go to design. So we start off with alignment. I want that to be more centered. And so if I wanted to, I can make it go all the way to the right. but I want to add it to the middle. So I'm going to choose my little middle option right here. Okay. Next, let's see, text options. We can choose to either have a dark text or a light text. If you wanted to do light, you could, and it would become instantly white, which it doesn't matter in this case because we're going to actually change the color of both the button and the button text. But I want to let you ladies see that that is also an option to do. You can just change the color by simply choosing the light option or the dark option. We're going light today. Let's move to the button section. So the button section, it's going to ask you if you want to use custom styles for button, and you want to answer yes if you want to actually change up things about the button. So we're going to do that. We're going to say yes. First off, the button size, I like the size it's at, but again, you can always take this and drag it left or right to make it as big or as small as you want to. Look at me, where'd I go? All right, so we'll go back up to like about this size. This is pretty nice, 25 pixels, all right? Next is the button text color, okay? So the wording inside of here, if you want to change the color of that, you can, and we're gonna change that to color similar to what we have for the background here. So we'll just move the little circular arrow here, circular circle here to right about that to where we can barely see it. And that's how we know it's a color. All right, so we got that. So now we want to change the actual button color itself. So button background color. It's already on the paint can here. You can make it be a picture if you want to, but we're going to use color for today. So it's already highlighted like that. So we're going to just click the plus button here. And we'll have that be a nice yellow. Look at that. So now we have our button, but something's still not quite right, and I think it's because we haven't changed the text of the button. And so to do that, we scroll down a little bit more. We see button font, and we're going to click on that. And I made this one ribeye as well, so we're going to click ribeye as the option for that. And boom, we have our button for that as well. Okay. Now there's some other options here too. If whether you want to do a regular option, if you want to do it more bold, you can. I'm going to change mine back to regular. If you wanted a button icon, you could totally like add an icon to your button by choosing a wide variety of different options here. So we'll include, for example, choose this one. And then that's a button icon. So when you go over the button, you'll see that that pops up right next to the wording right there. All right. But we're not going to use a button icon for today. If you wanted to change the color of the hover text, when you move your arrow over the button, if you want it to change a different color, you can totally do that. It's all up to you. You can do whatever you want. We'll see we go from that to say blue. So and roll over it. Now let's see how the color turned blue. And you can also do that with the hover background color. So if you wanted to change it from yellow to say green when you hover over it, choose green. You go over here. Now look, we've changed our button so people know when they're coming to your site that when they press the button, it's highlighted. Pretty nice, right? So we'll save all that for right now. Now, you'll notice this size-wise looks a little different from how big this section is, right? And why is that? Because we haven't actually changed the tops and bottoms here. You can change, like I said earlier on, your section sizes by simply going to the top of each section and deciding if you want to move it in closer or not. And it really determines, at this point, it's up to you, ladies, in terms of how much space you want between the word and the top of the section here and how much you want between the button and the bottom here. So you can not only change that in the sections, but also in the rows themselves. So you can see right here, the space between the text and the button is a little bit shorter here than we have it here. All you have to do is go into your row section and then move the arrow around until you see the highlight pop up, just like it did for the section. And from there, you can actually like move how much of the bottom or top is in each of these rows as well. So if we do this one right here like that, we come to the button option here, and we have our little row here. We move this up a little bit, and now they're close to each other, you know? So that it's really, really that simple though in terms of like how to actually maneuver everything in each of these sections and these rows and stuff. It becomes very, very easy and second nature almost to the point where you can do this with like no problem and no hassle. It's very, very simple. But anyway, so once we like everything that we have here, we save it. And boom, you have now built your entire website. All right. Got our top here, you got our middle sections here, and then we have our bottom part here. Okay. And so we've saved it. As you can see, ladies, this is all it takes to actually build this entire website. Now, I'm gonna do something really, really quick for you ladies, because I know I've been saying, oh, like you can build this whole thing in less than 15 minutes. Now that we've built this whole thing and you've seen step by step, I'm going to go through really quickly and rebuild this entire page in no time flat, okay? Just to give you an idea of how quickly this actually can go by once you actually know what you are doing, all right? And to do that, I'm going to trash this entire page. We got a little trash can option right here. It says clear layout. It's going to ask me if I want to do it for sure. Absolutely. We're going to clear it out right now. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and build this thing from scratch starting right now. Okay, so we're going to go over here, go to background, pictures. We're going to click the arrow here. We're going to choose our picture, upload the image. We're going to make sure that we save that, and then we're going to use this and scroll down so we can see more of the picture. A little bit right here, and that's about perfect. Okay, we're going to open up our row. We need one row. We need some wording, so we're going to do text like that. Text module here. We're going to go down here to get our wording that we want to use. Beautiful website with no coding ever. Copy. We're going to paste it into here like that. Go back to make sure we enter this so it's on its own row. Go to visual. See, that looks great. Highlight, center, design, heading text. We're going to do the ribeye because we love our ribeye. Don't we, ladies? We love a ribeye. Oh, you know what? I didn't save that. My bad. Let me go back here real quick. Make sure I save that as the heading. There we go. So now we have it as ribeye. And then from there, we're going to change the heading size a bit. We'll change the color to yellow. Perfect. Heading size, make it a little bit bigger than that. Add our shadow. Boom. And then we'll just make this a little bit bigger size-wise. Boom. First section done. We'll save that. All right, next section. Got a regular section here, ladies. We got two. So we're going to add text for the first section. And we've already got our wording. So we're going to highlight all this stuff so we make sure we get the words that we want to use. Copy and paste. All right, so make sure we have this online for this here. We're going to visual. We're going to highlight the top line here so we make that our heading number 2. And we're going to make sure all this is aligned being justified. So we're going to save that here. Go to design, heading text. We're using heading number 2. So we'll go to default and click on ribeye as well for that. And I think that's it for that one. We'll go scroll up to text and we will click our default for that, which is abiz. All right, we'll make that a little bit bigger so mom can read it at home. Hi, mom, if you're watching this. All right, so we'll save all that. Looks great. And, oh, you know what we forgot? You know what we forgot? Forgot to change the color. Hold on a second. Text, we'll change the color of that to black. So text color is black. Perfect. All right, so now we'll go to pictures over here. So we'll go to image. We want an image. We've got our image already in there. We got the lady sitting at the window doing her thing, like that. Great. We'll save that. All right, next section, do another regular section. Before we do that, we're going to change the color of this section real quick. We're going to change it to a background color of grayish. So we'll do that here, then fade that in a little bit, and perfect. We'll save that. We're going to add 2 rows, so each row is 3 columns, so we'll do that. We'll save that, and we'll duplicate it. Duplicate, press plus. So we'll get our first picture, image, boom, lady on the bed, right here, perfect, boom. All right, now we're going to copy. We're going to save this first, and then we're going to duplicate, drag, and then we'll duplicate and drag again. All right, so now we'll change these images in here. So upload, we'll change it to this one, and we'll save, and we'll change this one to the lady in the bed drinking coffee. Image, save, boom. All right, then we'll go down here. We want our testimonials. So we'll do this first one here. We'll do testimonial, click, and we got our 3 testimonials here. So first off, we'll do Cheryl. And we'll do our text here for her. Copy, paste, boom, boom. Visual, looks good, looks great. And we'll come in here. We'll change our quote icon to black. We got that there. And then we'll go to our body text, and our default we'll go to use a bees again, and our body text color, we're going to have that be black, and that is that. We have our font that we want to change as well, I believe. So, oh, we did the font already. Okay, great. So then we'll save that, and now we'll simply clone and drag again, and we'll clone one more time and drag again. All right. We'll do our other testimonials here. So we just have to change this up. We'll go in here, Click our sundial. Always click the sundial. Text, change that up to this new one. Visual looks perfect. And then we'll change this name to Emily. All right, save. And then our last one is the cool mom. Cool mom for learning how to do Divi. Woo! What? Text, paste, visual. Change this to Laura. And we are good to go on that. We save. That section looks great. We'll save all this. And then we'll do our last section here, regular. So before we add the rows, we'll do the color change in the background again. We'll go to background. Change it to that red color that we like. We'll take this circle here and just drag it over here until it looks close enough to that. A little bit darker. Perfect. All right. We will save that. And now we're going to add our rows. So we're going to add a singular row here. And we'll X out that so we can duplicate the row first. Duplicate. All right. So we'll add our module in this row. We'll go click in text. Boom. And the text we're using is enroll in the Learn Divi Fast course today, which is great. Click that, paste it, go to visual, and then from there we're going to make this a headline or a header text. So we'll do heading 1. Then we'll go to design, heading text. We already got it on 1. We'll do ribeye as our option for that, and we will align it in the center, and we will make it a white texting. Awesome. I already like the size of it, so we'll be good for that. So we'll save, and then we're going to add another thing down here in the row. We're using a button this time, so we're going to add a button text. It says become a Divi diva. I'm going to paste that in, and then we're going to go to design, and we're going to do the alignment first. We want it in the center. Next, we're going to see what's up with the text here. We want it as a dark text or light text. We'll choose light today. See button options. We're going to use custom styles for button. I like the button size. We're going to move it up to 25, I think. Yes, that's perfect. Button text color. We're going to have it be a similar color as what we're doing for our background. So it's like right about here. Perfect. I can't see it anymore. Background button color, or press plus here, do yellow so we can see that. We're going to scroll down some more. We like the button width already. We like the button border color. Awesome. We're going to do our button font, so we're going to do that as ribeye as well. And then we're going to save that, and we're going to drag parts of the sections here to make sure that we have a little bit closer. Perfect. This one comes up a little bit. And we'll also go into the rows themselves to kind of fix that up a little bit so it's a little bit closer. And boom. And we have built the first page of our website, and look how much time that took. Now think about this, okay? Think about if you had to learn coding and then you had to put your own website together, how long would this actually take? Versus we did this in so little time and it looks stunning. Could you imagine your website looking this great? Can you imagine your customers coming to this website or your followers and looking like, oh my God, they spent so much money on this site. It looks absolutely amazing. And it hardly cost you anything. But this is what is possible to build when you're using the Divi platform. And ladies, let me tell you, if you have a website that looks as good as this, the amount of success you're about to get, the amount of praise you're going to get from your family and your friends on how awesome you are at being able to build websites, and more importantly, the self-satisfaction you're going to have that you were able to do this yourself and have it look so immaculate. The feeling of that is just beyond what I could even describe. That once I finally got this system down in terms of putting together Divi pages and Divi websites, it just made putting these things together so much easier, and it made me feel a whole lot better about my business, about my chances for getting new customers, and about being able to be an actual valuable player in the industry that I wanted to go into. Now, if you've enjoyed these trainings and you're thinking to yourself, Phil, I think that with your help, I could definitely build a high quality website, and I want to know how to do as much as I possibly can to ensure that my website is the absolute best one out there for my market, then have I got a surprise for you. Tomorrow, I'm going to be sending you a special invite in your email for my new program called Learn Divi Fast, which if you've been paying attention to the tutorials, you probably got the idea that was going to happen anyway. But tomorrow, I'm going to send you much more details about that program and how the training in that program can actually help you to take your do-it-yourself website to the very, very next level, okay? So be sure to stay tuned for that email tomorrow, and I will talk to you soon. Peace.